So there is money in that contingency for this outside when you do something to it. We just don't want to eat up 1.2 million.
It's for unforeseen conditions that happen during construction.
Yeah, it's where we hit bedrock, or we didn't hit bedrock.
And there's always unexpected.
Yes, the price of steel goes up by the time we order steel. I mean, that's another thing. We're sitting here, we've got to get this thing so we can order our steel package. And they might have a better read on what steel's going to cost a month from now, but yeah, I mean, it's every day that we don't order steel is a day that steel costs more money. So that's what contingency is truly for.
Right. And so we have construction contingency, we have design contingency, we have contingencies built into a couple of places, but it's for the entire site. So we can't just wipe out our entire contingency on the design phase, because then if something happens during construction, we're going to be coming back to you asking for more money. And I think no matter how good we're hoping the budget right now, as time goes on, costs only increase, and so we're fighting against that too. So just to set the stage, the last three options that we showed you, we are able to do within our current budget. So what we heard last time was that if we don't use the budget as a constraint, what other options might be on the table for the council. So we have three options for you to take a look at, and I'll walk you through them, high level, and then you can answer any specific questions. So this is the update to the original design committee recommendation. Right here we have a 6-lane, 25-meter pool. We heard from the design committee that the original zero entry space, they wanted two things to happen. One, they wanted it to grow a little bit, and they didn't want it to be quite so zero depth. They wanted more kind of waist deep hangout space. And so before, where it was a pretty gradual increase up to standing level over here, we've now created more standing space in this area. I will note this shows like some options. We could have features outside. These designs aren't fully built up yet with all the features that could be in there. We just need to understand what the footprint's going to look like so we can continue to develop the space.
That's a good point. We're still having conversations about this. What we need to know is spatial stuff. If we have to move that building, that's a whole different conversation. If we're going to put a 50-meter pool there, that's a whole different conversation.
Right. So we also heard in our initial concept, just to start showing spaces on a piece of paper, we had the pool pushed to the very northern edge of the site. We heard the concerns about having more queuing space for swim team, and so we pushed that down a little bit on the site. It did require us to add a retaining wall right here, and then like Chris was talking about earlier, instead of this just being like a hill here, and it's a pretty steep hill to get down from one story, not enough space. We've added some terraces in this area that could work for a place to set up with your family. If you're just there for recreation, it can also allow some space for swim meet, kind of set up for teams, parents, kids, etc. Hang out for a weekend to come actually over into the area for a swim meet.
Yeah, let's wait till the end, okay?
Let me ask one question.
No, I already told Mr. Neal he cannot. So let's get through the whole thing and we'll come back.
Okay. And so down here, so what we know about doing this is a couple of things have to happen to make this circular building. So we have to add some additional retaining walls in this section. We also have to do some additional excavation and grading. And then this is new from the presentation that we sent out on Friday. In order to accommodate this additional water here, we need to actually increase the amount of filters that we have in chemical space. So we're going to have to add some square foot to the building, and it's not just like you have a cutout of the building, it actually increases the building square feet about 162 square feet. So the total cost to just do all of this as it is about an additional $1.2 million. We are able to increase our bather load. I think it's about 110 people on the outside, but our total bather load for indoor and outside would be about 872. Do you want me to go through all three options?
We do.
Okay.
We can come back.
Okay. So this is a new option too. So this looks at doing an 8-lane, 25-meter pool. I will note, like with the last 8-lane pool that we proposed in the last set of designs, these are 7-foot lanes, not 8-foot lanes. This does help us not have to move the building further to Slater to the east, which is helpful. We did, again, show the increased zero depth entry. We moved the pool a little further into the middle of the site, have some similar terracing here. This amount of space actually requires us to add 325 square feet to to the building, we have to add 4 filters to the space. So we need some additional space out in the mechanical, and we have building constraints to the north, and the only way to do that is we're going to have to figure out what that does to where deck space and where the building gets placed on the site. But we are going to need some additional space in this area. Our outdoor bather load increases to 539 people, so a total of 934. And then the additional cost here is $1.6 million. And additional, same thing, additional retail wall here and some extra excavation and grading. And then finally the 15-meter pool. So this is 15-meter 8-lane pool. It's all lap pool. There's not a traditional fun feature associated with this pool at 0 depth entry. It gets really challenging along this existing retaining wall. We have to do some additional excavation and grading, add some retaining walls. We might have to do some shoring and modifying of this retaining wall, which of course is expensive. It also shifts our building, right up onto Slater, which we've heard some concerns about distance from parking garage to front door, so that distance will continue to increase. And then again, we're going to have to increase the pool equipment room, and so that puts us at about an extra $3.4 million. And the beta load for this is about 934.
Go back to
Wait a minute, can you go back to number 1? Neil, your question?
I actually have several, but the first one here on this one was, where are the contours? Where are the depths changed? I have just a hard time seeing it, just kind of faint.
Yeah. Well, so I think in general, and you can help me out as well, but so this is going to be so the deepest part of the well is going to be here for the diving.
Right.
This is going to be the standard depth of the lap line, 4 feet, 3.5, 4 feet, which would carry into this area. This would be that 0 depth entry. It's only a chute taking down from nothing down to the 4 feet, and then there would be 2 steps. So this would be, so this is 4 feet. This is at a different depth, a little bit shallower, and then this is probably your shallowest area here.
So that first arc is 4 feet.
This first,
Or 3.
this would be 3.5 to 4 feet.
3.6.
Yeah.
3.5 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in the pool itself, the diving well starts. You have essentially a diving well that, with the contours, is fairly steep up.
Right.
Wet. Currently, and I don't know, the existing pool in the diving well is roped off, so people can't swim while people are diving. Is that also is that a safety rule that would continue?
Yes.
Where would the roped off portion actually be in this diagram?
As soon as far as you have both portions.
What footage does that have to be?
It's not, it's the space, so it's 300.
300. So I don't know the total area of that.
I don't know
body.
the total area either,
But-
but I would guess it's going to be between the locker line and then there's like there's another little weird square there on the left-hand side. On that. I know, I'm not very good with it. So I would imagine it's going to be somewhere in this general area that your line would be.
So you lose that little area that people aren't diving in. You have to just go straight.
You have to
across
close you have to close the hole. And the thing to remember is what, like, now, if you don't have lap lanes outdoors, you'll have lap lanes indoors for people that want to swim laps, if that's the concern. But
Mine is the space available for just enjoying yourself in some pool.
and once you get to where you can't touch, people don't,
Right, they can swim, but they can dive in there too, off the side, right?
not if the diving boards are open.
No. Okay. I'm talking about in the rec side.
On the right side, they can't, well, they could technically dive, most people jump through first. So, I mean, but
What is the rule as far as the depth of the dive off the side?
you don't dive head first off the side, but we don't usually let people dive head first off the side of the pool.
I've seen people do it.
I know they do.
It says no.
It does say no diving along the pool.
Yes.
I think I'm going out of sequence and hey, Alan's next, but I want to know, so that additional cost is only building cost. When you're talking in the other scenarios, we're adding filters, we're adding more space, we need more staff, it's ongoing cost.
Yes.
I want everyone to hear that.
Yes, it is ongoing more cost.
Okay.
So we have more water to support here, that's more chemicals that you need to operate, there's additional lifeguards that we would have to have. I mean,
Right.
But some of that money is for additional
Right.
water space too. 'Cause
Yeah.
that art area is large. We understand art is somewhere.
That's just building.
This 1.2 additional
That's
is
not what
just
you're paying over the next 50
building.
years.
Not property.
That's
Yes.
I do have a relevant question, it's a follow-up to that. But in the original proposal that we got on, it was actually a 25-yard pool.
It's meters, that was my mistake, it's meters.
Well, but I scaled it out, the actual drawing itself was yards.
No, it's meters. The original one that we got from the Aquatic Design Group, it's always been meters.
Yeah, you're on.
2, please. What's the approximate distance from the first retaining wall, the north retaining wall, to the parking area when we're going to be putting a building?
This one here,
No, the first one, the north one, that one.
that one to the parking area.
Yeah. I mean, where's the
So,
building?
so from the building line to the parking garage, I think is about 30 feet.
So 30 feet.
Yeah.
So is there a way we could take an L-shaped wall rather than straight across from the existing? Yeah, making an L shape, go down and over.
Go down this
Yeah,
side.
then over.
No.
Yeah. Would that increase the space legitimately?
I mean, you could have, potentially you could, we do have some constraints with once we have to fit between the building and the parking garage. We have to have fire access that's available from that level.
So have we thought about that?
We were trying to keep things
Symmetrical?
straight with the building, but we could.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
You could add more deck space. You could increase the amount of deck space. You could increase the more amount of water space. So I think
There will be
that
a
number
cost
is-
associated.
that number is-
I mean,
It's
numbers
time
always cost.
and money.
Yeah.
It's always a cost.
Yeah.
All right, Meredith, in 1 and 2, why does it have to do with grade water switch?
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
go ahead. Edward.
Yeah, so we were laying it out. I think one was just sort of where we had been, that having laplands north and having more of the kid function, more water that's sort of related more to indoor this way. You can see it's really narrow. There are widest areas here, and we got the latest update of this new fan shape that is bigger than what we saw last time, being wider than the lapland area. It made more sense just to flip it. It's a complete departure from what we had shown previously, but it works more with what's available.
And that's
My only thought there is if those terraces are for viewing, when it's flipped, you defeated that choice, okay? So to me, that orientation
And this is 8.
has defeated that orientation.
This could be 8 or 6. We're just showing that 8 would work in this scenario.
Yeah.
You'd get more deck space and went back to 6.
That's
Another question related to the layout of this, you've got the diving boards on one side, and then I assume, or maybe not, but you could use the other side for lap lanes unless the diving wall has to be blocked off all the way across, which if it does,
If you use both boards, you typically will block
the whole.
the whole.
Right. Okay. Well, if there was a situation where you were not doing that, and people were doing laps on the part of the pool that's not closest to the diving boards, they would be doing laps back and forth right where people are coming into the pool. So if you flipped where the diving boards
The boards look at either side.
located, it would make more sense to be located on the same side as the people
Yeah.
entering the pool.
Yeah, the boards could
Design
easily go there.
Good thought.
That's a good point. Good point.
So how much water, and I'm going to ask, this is going to incorporate all of these designs, but look at our pool now, how much water is our water space are we looking at in our pool versus a design for like option 1 versus one of the designs that we had last week that looked like this. I mean, what kind of water are we actually
Just outside?
Yeah.
outside, inside?
Total on the aquatics program.
For the aquatics program. Because I think that's where we're missing something here. We're getting hung up on outdoor space when we have indoor people versus outdoor people too. And, you know, I'm wanting to figure out total water.
We're gonna crunch the numbers.
Nope, I think I got it. So right now we're at like right at kind of 15,000, and that's what these options take us to.
So we're
square feet.
So we're really not losing much space. We're just allocating our pool separately.
Yes.
And that's what I think everybody's losing sight here, because granted, as much as I like to be outside, there's going to be times in the hot summer I'm not going to want to be outside. I want to be inside. And there are times when I'm going to want to be outside, or I'm going to want to be inside. And I'll have that option to go in or out, just like everybody else.
And that's the intent. The intent is to have
Exactly.
options.
Also, I know my experience was my wife and I, when we finished, and I can't speak for this year because I haven't been there this year, but we've been at different times during the week and on the weekends, and I don't see many people using the lap lamps. I don't see them using the lap lamps. I get there and I may see 1 or 2 people the whole time we're there. And we're there for several hours. They're not using those lap lamps to swim. And if a person's really wanting to swim fast, if it's busy on the outside, I'm going inside.
Right.
I'm not saying, you know, we're not losing, I guess my point is we're not losing a lot of our pool that we have. We're just separating it all out to make it more usable, friendly.
What's your experience, Anna, in terms of what he's talking about, number of people in the lap lane?
You'll have a handful of people that will swim laps. They usually will come very early or very late, but I was there several times last week and there was never anyone swimming laps while I was there. But I was there either at Dried It Open, noon, 12:31,